I suspect most of you are aware by now, music icon Prince, dead, age 57. We are live tonight for the next 2 hours talking to people who knew him best. We are bringing you the latest developments. Watch.
CNN has now confirmed that the artist Prince is dead.
The death at the estate of Prince
You know what?
in Minnesota.
Hold on 1 second. You guys, is it true? Yes, it has been confirmed. Prince has passed away at the age of 57.
Police responded to a medical call at his home in Minnesota this morning. Remember, he was born and raised in Minneapolis. Then a death investigation began at his estate. We know that he was hospitalized last week for the flu.
Last week, his plane was in the air coming back from Atlanta. They had to do an emergency landing, take him to the hospital. At that time, his reps had come out and said that he was just suffering with some flu-like symptoms, took him in. He was out of the hospital within a couple hours, and he even showed up on stage at a dance night near his home in Minnesota to say, hey, I'm all good.
Massive loss in the world of music, pop culture, art. Prince has died.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
As I said, we'll be here for 2 hours discussing this. We'll have the people that knew him best. I've got Ludacris coming by. I have Kevin Frazier from ET stepping by here. And joining me now, downtown Julie Brown, former MTV VJ. I have Samantha Shocker, Pop Trigger on Hulu. I've got Karamo Brown, contributor, Access Hollywood, and television host. As Dax from TMZ was just telling us, sheriff deputies were called to Paisley Park Studios and found Prince unresponsive in an elevator. First responders attempted CPR but were not able to revive him. I want you to listen to this Prince fan who saw him perform on Saturday night. This is just days after his plane, Prince's plane, had made an emergency landing for unclear reasons so he could get medical treatment. Have a look.
He was more connected to us Saturday night than I had ever seen. He came out and he spoke to us about what happened, and it was very cool. It was like, I always felt like we were his family because there were only 200 of us there. So he talked about what happened, and he said he was okay, and he said, don't waste your prayers on me right now, and, you know, wait a few days.
Oh, my goodness. Prince did do a surprise performance at the Saturday Night Live 40th anniversary party. Some of the world's biggest stars had been flown in there. They were all blown away. Listen to this.
They had instruments on the stage, and it was, what's the band going to be? And they said, well, can somebody come up and play bass? Well, Paul McCartney got up to play bass, you know?
Naturally.
And then Taylor Swift got up and sang, and it was very electric, but like later than that, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden, there's this amazing surge to the stage, and it's Prince. He's going on the stage to play spontaneously, apparently unrehearsed. And all of the stars who'd just been hanging out in the back, like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Tina Fey, they rushed the stage to see Prince. They had to see Prince. It was like this most electric moment. And you just felt that of all the people there, he had the most influence across the board on all these other artists.
Julie, you were at MTV when, you know, when I think about that period of history, Prince's music is in the background. You know what I mean? And you were there in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
This must have special meaning to you.
It was, you know, being in a place, in a world that was saturated by just the sheer genius of Prince. We spoke about him so much. We talked about him every day, 7 days a week. We all had something to say about Prince. And now I sit here, and to be honest with you, it's hard to find the words to go, you know, what was it about him that made him such a part of your life? And it's just his energy brought in so much of the greats with James Brown. I mean, he was one of the few of our decade that stuck with us. I mean, we've got Whitney Houston, we've got Michael Jackson.
All dead, which
you
is
know,
just so sad, right? I mean, it's so sad that we have to, I feel robbed myself. In fact, I was robbed. We were all robbed of his genius. He was robbed of his life. This did not, so, we're going to find out what happened here. This did not have to happen. I'm going to tell you that. Yeah, it's shocking. And Sam's been sobbing all day.
Oh, I know.
Thanks for pointing that out. I do have red eyes. And it surprised me, my reaction. I loved Prince, and we've lost so many great artists this year, but for some reason, this death impacted me so much more, to the point where I was mourning over someone I had never met. I've attended his concerts, and if you haven't been to a Prince concert, you have not lived. He's anointed. He's truly gifted. He gives everything to his audience that are there with him, and I miss him already.
Is there a word that occurs to you about his performances and the way he's connected? Because the word that comes, I went to Kimmel. Kimmel's right up the street here, and he gave a performance in the parking lot behind, you know, where they have that stage set up. And there's a word that came flying out to me.
I hope it's not the same word as mine.
What?
Go ahead.
Well, mine was joy.
Yours is joy.
Yeah, he
Mine
just
was
had
emotion.
He had such joy, and he's not the kind of guy
sexy.
that.
Yeah, girl. Sexy. I mean, the man.
Damn,
was,
Julie, you stole mine.
Exactly.
well, it's just that here's a man that, and men loved Prince just as much as women. I mean, men didn't care if, you know, it was, I mean, just guys. I'd see these big butch guys out on the dance floor, you know, dancing to When Doves Cry, and all the time on Club MTV. And, you know, I had the pleasure of being at one of his private concerts at Paisley Park Studios. It was at an NBA big bash, and he invited a whole bunch of us back to Paisley Park Studios, and we thought we were just going back to celebrate a party, but then he ended up getting up on stage, and it lasted until, well, put it this way, the sun came up before we
Well,
left.
but again, it's that sharing, that joy, that communal quality he brought. I've got right now on the phone Carissa Thompson, co-host at Extra. Carissa.
Hi, Carissa.
Hi, you guys.
Hey there. We got a lot. It's a sad day, and I appreciate you joining us. There you are. Now, he was let's get into the sort of weeds here a little bit. He was hospitalized last week. His spokesman told us at that time he's fine and at home, and then what changed?
Okay, so that's April 15th that he's hospitalized. His plane has to make that emergency landing in Illinois. He had performed the night before in Atlanta. This was after having to cancel some previous shows early in April. He performs, he gets on the plane, he's hospitalized, they say he's okay. He takes to Twitter on April 17th now and responds to a fan that said, I really enjoyed the concert in Atlanta. He said, I haven't been able to sleep since. I feel revitalized, rejuvenized. And he seems to be doing okay, right? And then all of a sudden that call comes in this morning around 9:45. The medical team responds to a man that's unconscious in the elevator at Paisley Park, and they try to revive him with CPR, and unfortunately they can't, and he's pronounced dead at 10 o'clock.
Carissa,
I mean,
I'm going to interrupt you, Carissa, because I have so many questions. There's so many holes in that story. I can't even begin to get into all of it. But let me just start with the plane incident.
Okay.
This is a healthy, as far as we know, otherwise healthy 57-year-old man whose plane has to be taken down because of some unknown medical crisis. They called it the flu. The one thing as a physician, I can guarantee you, it was not the flu. I guarantee you it was not the flu. Now, what are you hearing that was? Any speculation, any idea what might have happened there?
I mean, here's the problem, right? And you know this, and you've been in this business. There's going to be a lot of different things that are said, that it's like, oh, well, he's a very private person. He wasn't going to tell you what was really going on. All that we know at this point is that that plane had to make an emergency landing, and his spokespeople, I don't even want to get into, like, what the speculation of a lot of other stuff is.
Oh, I might get into it, Chris. I don't know if you want to get into it with me, but I'm a physician. I got to figure this out, and I hate the way these publicists spin stuff. But just tell us it's a private matter. We'll tell you when we're ready. I'm cool with that. But don't BS me with flus and nothing and all that. That's just insulting all of us. And it's not you, Chris. I understand. It's the publicists that are spinning it. I believe me. I understand.
Right. No, and I also think, I mean, look, this just happened this morning. And there's that point about being respectful of that we just lost this icon, this man. And details, of course, will continue to come out. I'm with you on the fact that publicists spin things and they protect things, but that's their job, is to protect their client. And in this situation, given the fact that the death, it is a shock to all of us, even given his health stuff, more things will come out. And right now, it's not my job to speculate what caused his death.
I'm with you, and most importantly, I really appreciate you being here on a tough day. And you and I have never really spoke much, but I really admire your work. I admire what you guys are doing over there at Extra. And I appreciate you being here today on a day when I guarantee you must have massive demand, and it's just a sad day. It's hard for all of us to move around through this kind of mire.
Thank you for having me.
You betcha. Thank you so much. All right, next up, we got my panel. I haven't even heard from Karamo yet. I got much more to talk about. I haven't from my audience yet. You guys got to grab a mic and get in here. We're going to get much more into this. We're going to hear from Ludacris. We're going to hear from Kevin Frazier. We got a lot of people stopping by. Stay with us.